Welcome back to the third Saturday in October, your SEC Water Cooler podcast for the rest of us. Find us online at thirdsaturdayin.october.com, on social media at TSIO Pod, also on YouTube as well, because you can find this podcast wherever you listen to podcasts and on YouTube. And on YouTube and on social media, you will see little snippets of the show, little reels or shorts, depending on what platform you're on. So go find us there. You can also support the show by sharing it with a friend, or by finding us on Venmo at TSIO Pod, or going to buymeacoffee.com/TSIO Pod. I am Bradley. I'm here with Jared, and Jared, we're about halfway through the SEC schedule for SEC basketball. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I want to give a quick shout out to your alma mater, the Belmont Bruins, and their victory this past weekend.
Heck yeah. So I actually did not get to watch very much of the Tennessee-Auburn game at all. You probably wish that you were at that Belmont game with me.
I do.
So we were texting Saturday. I took the family to the Belmont Bruins basketball game hosting Murray State. And Murray State has been a thorn in Belmont's side. John Morant, who is, I believe he's currently with the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah.
There's talks that he may be traded, but I think he wants to stay with the Grizzlies. We'll see.
And he's been with them a few seasons now. I don't even know how long, but he's not like brand new to the NBA.
No, he's been there several seasons. He played at Murray State.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
He single-handedly beat Belmont a few years ago. I guess his last year. I
think he only played 1 year, but maybe I'm wrong.
Was only one?
I believe so.
But he was a fantastic player. But also, humility was not his a strength of his, and it really caused some bad blood between Belmont and Murray State, as if there wasn't enough reason. But Murray State has been really, really good. Belmont, going into the game, had a 1-game lead in the conference, and Belmont just destroyed them. I think the win was by 18, but they were up by 30 at one point.
Go Bruins!
More than 30, but it was a spectacular game. I will say, my kids, Belmont. Let me back up. Belmont does a really good job. They've got a kid zone that is behind the goal, where the opposing team is shooting free throws at the end of the game, and they give all the kids balloons and shakers and stuff so that they can help distract the other team. They also have balloon animals, face painting, all free for kids. And so my kids decided to go get balloon swords, because what 6 and 4-year-old doesn't want a balloon sword? My 6-year-old, and I warned him, hey, these aren't going to last forever. It could pop sometime. On the way out, and it was a night game, so he was already tired. On the way out, it caught a sharp edge and popped. And the balloon guys had already packed up, and he was just in tears the entire way home.
You warned him, but yeah.
I did warn him, but it didn't help. So great time until everybody was just melting down at the end of the game. But Belmont comes away with a win and has I believe it's a 2-game lead over Murray State for the Missouri Valley Conference. So hoping to keep riding that through the rest of the season and into the tournament, because winner of the Missouri Valley Conference gets to go to the big dance. And if you win the regular season and the conference tournament, you get seeded higher. I would guess that winning both of those would give you probably a 12 seed. Maybe a little bit higher, but that's probably about it. Belmont's been to the tournament a couple of times, usually as a 15 or 16 seed, and it's really tough. Really, really tough. Although they came close to beating Duke one year.
Yeah.
Duke won on a last-second shot. So that was a great time there. And shout out to my high school baseball coach who was there. His brother is actually the head coach of Belmont basketball.
Nice.
So Coach Buddy Alexander, if you happen to find this podcast, is great seeing you. And I guess he really rubbed off on me because as Jared and I, you and I were talking before we started recording. We just got my 6-year-old signed up for baseball. He loved it last year. He cannot wait to play again. And he's been begging me to coach. So I put my name in the hat to be head coach. And I stole this from my father-in-law, but my whole goal as a coach for 5 and 6-year-olds is for them to have so much fun that they want to play again next year. So I'm already working on, I put together kind of a practice plan to keep everybody engaged and going and having a great time, because I just want everybody to have a blast. So I've already written that out. I love baseball. I think most of you already know that. I love baseball, and I'm getting very excited. I'll have to go into more of my preparedness for Little League Baseball later, because right now we have plenty of basketball to talk about. I heard some rumblings about I guess Josh Pate had kind of a what was it, like fan base mood, I guess, like how are Tennessee fans feeling. I'll kind of talk about what he said and comment on that, and then we'll hit some baseball as well. So let's recap some of these games real quick. Last Tuesday, Arkansas beat Oklahoma 83-79. Vanderbilt beat Kentucky handily. Vanderbilt won by 25. Wow. Yeah. Alabama beat Missouri. Wednesday, Florida beat South Carolina by, what is that, like 47? Is Florida the best 6-loss team in the country? I think so. Mississippi State beats LSU by 14. Tennessee beats Georgia by 1. We'll get into that in a minute. Auburn beats Texas by 6. And then the Saturday slate, Kentucky beat Arkansas, which I believe has Calipari at 851 wins. Keep that in mind. Mm-hmm. Vanderbilt beat Ole Miss by 3. LSU beat South Carolina by 5. A&M beat Georgia, which kind of surprised me. That was at Georgia.
Buggy ball, man. They're dominating.
Yeah, they won by 15.
Yep.
Texas beat Oklahoma by 10. Missouri beat Mississippi State by 5. And Tennessee beat Auburn by 8, giving Rick Barnes, I believe, 851 wins. So Rick Barnes is in a tie, I believe, for most wins by an active D1 coach. Maybe all coaching levels. But that was pretty exciting to see. He's won a lot of basketball. Jared, I'll let you talk a little bit about Auburn basketball. Let's go back to midweek, because y'all beat Texas at home. Texas, I mean, what are they, 12-9 at that point? Maybe they're 12-8 going into that game, but still a solid program. And y'all were down 8 at halftime.
Yeah. Auburn has played really well, in certain games, and then other games have just struggled. And nice to get that win on at Texas, it was at Auburn, but with Texas, and then not give away a home game. With that said, we went to Tennessee on Saturday, and I was feeling kind of confident. I was like, okay, I think we can potentially, pull off an upset here. And Tennessee just locked them down, and Auburn did their best. They got, within reach a couple times in the second half. Got within one score a few times. And as soon as they did, Tennessee would just extend the lead back to 9 or 11 or whatever it was. And it was just like, man, we cannot buy a basket. We cannot. I mean, it was just so frustrating to watch. But it's not because I'm this anti-Tennessee bitter person. It's just Tennessee was playing smart basketball against a pretty decent Auburn squad, and so got to give them hats off. They played well, and Ament was good, and there were some nagging little injuries going on. One of our guys, Overton,
it's that time of season. Yeah.
One of our guys, Overton, when he was falling, his one of the Tennessee players' knee hit the back of his head, and it almost looked like it might have been like a concussion. But he did come back in the game. But so it might not have been that bad. But it was, he got his bell rung, and then we had kind of a nagging knee ankle type situation going on with Kashawn Murphy, and then Kashawn Hall had a problem with one of his fingers, so he wasn't shooting well, and that was just a recipe for a loss. Yeah. But and then our other guys that should be stepping up in those situations couldn't hit shots for nothing. So, and we got out rebounded, and it just wasn't going to happen. But that said, I'm still all in on Auburn. I still believe they can have a nice week where they don't have any midweek games this week, so they're going to play Alabama on Saturday, and that's all. You don't have to get real. You don't have to do a lot to get hyped up for Alabama. So, and Alabama's being called all kinds of names by different teams. I saw where Kentucky played Alabama, and they were kind of making fun of their G League dropout player. And that part of college basketball I just absolutely love. It's like nobody likes what Alabama's done. Every team can agree that what Alabama's done is unacceptable, and so I can get behind that. Yeah,
the judge who was presiding over that restraining order
recused himself. Yes.
Yeah, he relieved himself of overseeing this case because both he and his wife are big Alabama.
Yeah, they're donors. Yeah, this whole thing stinks, but whatever.
Yeah, that that should not
ridiculous.
Be allowed in the first place.
No, it shouldn't, and it's not a good look for Alabama. And I can't believe they're going to this extreme. But whatever, it's gonna play out. But it's tacky and pitiful.
Yeah.
So,
much like Auburn in the midweek game, Tennessee found itself down at halftime to Georgia, and had the opportunity to win it, and Georgia tied it up at the end of regulation. So it goes to overtime, and basically all I can say is Tennessee did not win this game. Georgia lost it because with 16 seconds left in overtime, Georgia's down 3. They've got plenty of time to get down the court. Props to Tennessee for knowing the situation. For Rick Barnes, preparing his team, explaining it to them. Hey, you got 16 seconds. Guard the perimeter. Do not foul. because you do not want to foul while they're shooting a three. You do not want to foul if they make a three and let them make 2 points. So that's exactly what Tennessee did. They guarded the perimeter. The time was winding down. I'm blanking on the player's name. I think it was Smurf is his nickname, but he saw a lane open up, and I don't think he was fully aware of where the clock was, because he scored an easy layup with 0.6 seconds left. And had they gotten that off, at 10 seconds, fine. Like, you can do that. But Tennessee just was not giving them any space to breathe on the perimeter, but leaving the lane completely wide open. And so the competitor in him just saw that and took off. But Tennessee was able to inbound and run out the clock there. They were talking about, though, Tennessee should have, as soon as that basket was scored, got the ball and thrown it in before Georgia had any time to compose themselves. Tennessee did not hurry to get that ball inbounds, and luckily it did not cost them. There's kind of too little time for it to really cost them, but it could have happened. So I'm sure that was a big talking point. But also Tennessee just being able to finish out games when they've got a lead of any sort, I'm sure has been brought up in the film room. And then the game against Auburn, like you said, Tennessee out-rebounded Auburn. That is something that Tennessee struggled with in years past. We finally have the guys down low to win that battle, win the rebound battle, and that is what has kept Tennessee in games or won them games, is simply just out-rebounding. And I'm not a basketball player. At 5'7" on a good day, my basketball career was over a long, long time ago. But what I understand is rebounding is all about effort. And Tennessee has shown that effort this season.
Yeah. Well, they got some good players, even with a couple injuries. You guys got a good lineup, and Jalen Carey is fantastic. And yeah, man, I'm excited for Tennessee basketball. I hate to see them beat up on my Auburn Tigers, but that was a good game and well-deserved win for Tennessee.
By the way, I probably left it off because I like neither of these schools, but there was a Sunday game this week. Florida hosting Alabama, and Florida won.
Oh, they waxed them,
23.
Yeah. They beat them up. Yeah.
Is Florida the best sixth-loss team in the country? I think so.
Well, they're good. Yeah.
So, Arizona's still number one team in the country. The first SEC team in the top 25 looks to still be Vanderbilt at 15 in both the AP and coaches poll. You got Florida at 16 or 17, depending on what poll you're looking at. Arkansas at 21, and either Tennessee or Texas A&M at 25. So quite a few teams have fallen off, but I think there will still be quite a few SEC teams in the tournament come March. And it's going to be a fun SEC tournament in Nashville as well. Tonight, we got Tuesday night, we got Ole Miss going to Tennessee and South Carolina going to Texas. The Wednesday slate is A&M at Alabama and Oklahoma at Kentucky. and then sets up a Saturday slate for Arkansas at Mississippi State, Missouri at South Carolina, Ole Miss at Texas, Oklahoma at Vanderbilt, as you mentioned, Alabama at Auburn, Georgia at LSU, Florida at A&M, and Tennessee at Kentucky for hopefully a revenge game. It's never
Are you feeling nervous about Kentucky and going all the way to Rupp? Kentucky's kind of like weird this year. I can't tell if like 1 week they're going to be good and 1 week they're going to just look like they're easy to dominate. I don't know.
Yeah. They've been so up and down the last couple weeks. If Tennessee plays like they played the last couple games, I think they win. But this is in Rupp Arena, which is never an easy place to play. Whether Kentucky's mediocre or world beaters, it's always going to be tough. So I don't feel great about it, but I am hopeful. I am optimistic. Yeah. I'm wondering, does this because basketball? So ESPN Analytics is giving Kentucky a basically 57% chance of winning. Do we have a point spread on this? They may not. Something that I've not been happy with is now that betting is on college sports is legal, ESPN doesn't always put point spreads on their website. So, bummer. But I expect it to be in Kentucky's favor by, I don't know, 3-5 points, something like that. I think it's going to be a good matchup.
I think Tennessee can sneak one. So.
I think they can too. The development of Nick Ament has been great. Tennessee against Auburn finally shot well from the free throw line, which has been a struggle this season. I mean, they've been like 64, 67% shooters from the free throw line, which is A, uncharacteristic of Tennessee teams. B, it just makes you want to beat your head against a wall. But if we can knock down some free throws, Ament has been really stepping up. Gillespie's battling something with his thumb because he's got it taped up the last few games. But let's see. I mean, I don't know. But Tennessee's last loss against Kentucky. Kentucky is 4-1 in their last 5. But Vanderbilt really put the hurting on them. So they are beatable. As 7 teams have already proven. So yeah, we'll see. How do you feel going up against a G leaguer and Alabama?
I mean, Alabama always plays well against Auburn, so it's going to be a battle. I'm hoping, because we got the home court advantage, I'm hoping that'll be a W for Auburn. But man, I never want to sleep on Alabama, just like you don't want to sleep on Kentucky. So
yeah,
none of these games, and there's less than 10 maybe for each school left in the regular season. None of these are going to be easy games. All of these are going to be tough. We got Alabama, then we got Vanderbilt a few days after that, and then Arkansas in Fayetteville. So it's not getting any easier. I mean, these next couple games are kind of a rough stretch. So, but man, I love it. This is that wonderful couple weeks right before March Madness, right before the SEC tournament. This is a good time to just enjoy some basketball, and it's been a lot of fun so far. So. Yeah. And then college baseball is coming up in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. So
You got Nichols coming. You got to play Nichols for Tennessee.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that, but I mean, it's going to happen. So.
Yeah. So as we're kind of midway through the SEC schedule, how would you grade Stephen Pearl in his first season? Which, by the way, he played his college ball at Tennessee.
Yes, he did.
He was playing college ball when his dad was coaching there.
That's true.
So I believe this is his first time back as head coach. But how would you grade him so far through the season?
Man, he's had really awesome moments, like the win against Florida at Florida. So I think for a lot of Auburn fans, yeah, exactly. A lot of Auburn fans are, if they are not as excited about Stephen Pearl, you get a pass because of that epic win that we had against Florida. But I think if he had beaten Tennessee, I think that would have really, made some believers that were on the fence. But I think he's doing great. I think given, that we went to the Final Four last year, we knew this year was a rebuilding of the roster. And to be in the position we're in, I think he's done a great job. So I'm optimistic. And, no matter what happens, I think this season is going to be, it's been a fun season, and I would love to see them get back in the NCAA tournament, maybe win, a couple. I don't know how realistic that is, but that's what we're hoping for. So
yeah, I mean, I can't imagine what the pressure feels like. Your first head coaching opportunity is at a I guess basketball didn't have the Power Four, but a
team that went to the Final Four the previous year under his dad. So
and even much less just a power conference for a team that has been at the top of that conference for the last decade or so.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure, and I think he's doing pretty well. I think it's kind of like when you have a young team, which Auburn kind of does. You're trying to figure out how it gels together and your strengths and weaknesses and how to exploit those. But I've been quite impressed with what he's been able to do.
And he hasn't had to go raid the G League to do it. So, I'm proud of Stephen Pearl. Any coach that's not raiding the G League right now, I'm kind of low key rooting for him.
Your football coach had something to say about it too. He was
and Golish has some ties to Tennessee, so the fact that he had a pointed comment, I thought was completely fair.
Yeah,
and it wasn't that controversial what he said.
No,
but it was kind of funny.
Like,
how'd that turn out for Alabama? Referring to their game with Tennessee. Yeah, and it didn't go well. Of course, Auburn didn't go well against Tennessee either. So there you go.
No, I thought that was great, and that also it's fun when you see kind of the human element of some of these coaches, because they do pay attention to other sports. Bruce Pearl, you would see him at football games, at women's games, I'm sure at baseball games, volleyball. I'm sure he was all over the place. Tony Vitello would do the same at Tennessee. Of course, you saw Coach Barnes and Coach Heupel at the decisive game in the College World Series when Tennessee won a couple years ago. And I loved seeing that when Pearl was at Tennessee. And I love seeing that really at any school. You want to endear yourself to, especially the student body, go to some of those other sporting events. It's a blast. So again, I think y'all got a good one in Golish.
Yeah, and I'll just I won't go on a tangent here, but I think Golish. There's not going to be many coaches in college football that are outworking him right now. Whatever issues come up with Auburn football in the next year, it won't be because Alex Golish wasn't working his tail to the bone. I mean, the guy he's working, and man, I love seeing that hustle because given that Auburn's had a rough few football seasons, it's just imperative that this new coach comes in and just does everything they can to try to right the ship, and he's doing that and then some. So I really have a lot of respect for Alex Golish. I'm rooting for him. Obviously, he's my coach, but I want to see him do well. I love the hustle. He is hustling, and they had some awesome recruits visit this weekend. I don't know how that plays out, but just the fact that you're getting those guys on campus, that's encouraging. So
yeah. Well, in sticking with football, so
any updates on Aguilar and the situation there?
So he is suing the NCAA
out of Knoxville
for another year of eligibility. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, this is a really tough situation because it's going to take a while for this to play out. You just went and got Ryan Staub from Colorado, who is not the shoe-in to start.
If you have to choose between Ryan and Joey, of course, you want Joey because he's already done it. So the Josh Pate brought up kind of what's the mood for Tennessee fan bases. It's like how you feeling? It's like pretty good. It's kind of what you say when you don't want to say what you really want to say. But what I can't remember if it was him or somebody else was saying. Okay, they went and got Ryan Staub, who's got a little bit of experience, but is he really going to be the starter if Joey doesn't come back? Not sure, because if you've got kind of question marks at quarterback, what you see these days are receivers transferring. Yeah.
And who did you not see transferring from Tennessee are top receivers. There are pictures of McIntyre and his receiving corps in Miami on a yacht. Gotta love that NIL money. On what's seeming to be a bonding trip. That was over Christmas break.
Bonding, that's it. No harm, no foul.
Nothing else, especially down in Miami.
That's all they do, I think.
Yeah. They just bond.
Yeah.
So the rumor is George McIntyre may be the real deal. I mean, he was a 5-star until kind of right at the end of his recruiting. They dropped him down to a 4-star, but he's seemingly a heck of a quarterback. Can they just keep him upright, because he needs to add some weight? But I'm feeling pretty good if Joey does not come back. How does his throwing arm heal from surgery where they removed a tumor that was pressing on his bicep? How does he recover from that? Does he get another year of eligibility? The NCAA or the SEC and the Big Ten need to figure this out. Do you get 4 years at like a D1 school, or do you get 4 years in college? Like this junior college stuff, it's a really gray area, and they just need to figure it out, because we just got through all the COVID stuff and extra years for COVID, where some guys were playing 6, 7. There was one tight end who played 9 years. I don't know how. Somebody explained how that was possible, but I don't get it.
It's yeah,
But
it shouldn't be, but it is.
There's a guy I work with whose son is going to play football, not at I think he's at a G4 school. But he's very frustrated at that COVID rule giving kids another year of eligibility, because that's taking a whole class of scholarships away.
Yeah, I get that.
And yeah, totally get it. But so I don't know what's going to happen. But I feel like, okay, Tennessee, Coach Heupel did not seem to be worried about going and getting a starting caliber quarterback. So I think that means he likes what he's got, and he's shown that he will go get pieces when he needs them, and that he also trusts his players, which I think is a great recruiting tool as well.
Yeah,
but that's
agreed.
That is that's enough about football. By the way, Super Bowl this weekend, yeah. And then we are in the dark days of football. But if you're like me, it's baseball season. My son keeps asking, "Hey, is there any baseball on?" I'm like, "Oh, son,
coming soon." Yeah,
you are speaking my love language. That's what every good baseball loving dad wants to hear. I mean, remember when every kid loved playing baseball, and yeah, I miss those days. I think it's mainly because that was me. I loved playing baseball. I don't think
I'd watch the movie. Yeah, I'd watch like Sandlot or something, then I'd go out and want to hit the ball.
Sandlot. By the way, it's so funny when somebody says, "Oh, hey, let's show this to the church youth group." And I'm like, I'm not sure you want to show this movie. Oh no, it'll be fine. And all the cussing, they're like, I forgot about that. I was like,
yeah.
But it is a great movie. The Rookie.
Yeah, The Rookie's good. Not as good as Sandlot in my opinion, but yeah.
No, but that one's based on a true story.
Right.
The Rookies. I do love A League of Their Own as well.
Yeah.
But that's not a must watch before baseball season. I'm currently watching Once Upon a Time in Queens about the Mets. ESPN 30 for 30. There's several 30 for 30s on baseball.
I think that's the right decision as a parent, is when your child is saying, "Is there any baseball on?" You go find a nice baseball documentary to kind of tie them over, because the season's just around the corner. So,
don't show
or a good baseball movie.
Yeah, don't show your 6-year-old.
Yeah, maybe it's not Sandlot unless it's like the made for TV version.
No. What their favorite is, Goofy's How to Play Baseball. There
you go.
That's on repeat in my house.
That's gotta, yeah. You're gonna have to do that.
No, but I'm a White Sox fan. How does a Nashville kid become a White Sox fan? I'll tell you. There was Nashville's minor league team is an independent team, meaning it's not owned by a major league organization. They sign multi-year contracts or single-year contracts to feed to different teams. So currently we are feeding to the Brewers, I believe. We have.
Is that right? Huh.
We fed to the Athletics. We usually feed to the Brewers, but there was a year when I was probably about my son's age. I was probably 6, 7, 8 years old. That the Nashville Sounds, fed to the White Sox, and the Nashville Sounds are a AAA team. So this is often the last stop before you get to the majors, and so I found it very interesting. Oh, the White Sox. Okay, Nashville doesn't have a team. Our closest teams are the Cardinals, the Reds, and the Braves. And I'm like, Braves are fine. My cousins are all Braves fans. But I fell in love with the White Sox.
I think a team will eventually end up in Nashville, by the way. That's not the conversation for this podcast, but I do see a major league team being in Nashville eventually.
Yeah, I think Tennessee's getting there. I think Nashville's getting there. And there's a movement to bring a major league team to Nashville. There have been rumors that it could be the White Sox. I think I'd have to go back and look. The White Sox have been so bad that I've kind of not been paying attention. I think they may have just gotten a new stadium deal, or they're trying to get one. And if that doesn't happen, there's a possibility of them moving. I don't think ownership wants to move them, but we'll see. My uncle, who passed away last year, was a big San Francisco Giants fan. So I did get a couple things, and I may have mentioned this before. I got, the like sip, kind of like the Stanleys. It's not Stanley, but some of those stainless steel vacuum whatever water bottles. I got a couple of those that are San Francisco Giants. So I keep one in my truck and one at my office. So I'm sporting some Giants gear there. I also, in a previous career, toured all over the country talking to music teachers and found myself in San Francisco in early April, and the Giants were playing at home. So
that's a fine time to go see the Giants.
Yeah. So, friend of the show, Chris Murphy, and I got tickets to the San Francisco Giants game. This was April 2011, and this was their second home game, which happened to be their ring ceremony from winning the World Series in 2010.
Yes.
So, as my aunt was cleaning out my uncle's stuff, she said, he's got some Giant stuff, a couple sweatshirts from their World Series wins. And I said, hey, that 2010 sweatshirt, I'd love that because I was at the ring ceremony for that championship. And she was like, well, you've got to have it. So
exactly.
My National League team going forward is going to be the Giants.
Okay.
So they also have a coach that I love to watch in Tony Vitello. So
they did get a decent coach in the offseason. So.
Yep. Their colors are orange and black. I mean, it works out. I did want to hit on a little bit of Tennessee baseball as we are getting close to opening day. The projected starting lineup, pitching, I feel like your starting pitchers are probably going to be Tegan Coons and Brandon Arvidsson. Arvidsson's been a reliever, but I think it's just kind of, let's get you used to, pitching in college. There's a lot more games in college. Let's just kind of build you up. Arvidsson is a redshirt junior. Coons is a sophomore. Coons pitched a little bit midweek last year, and from the bullpen. They just kind of used him wherever they could. We've got a couple transfers who could also be starting as well. Brady Frederick from ETSU and Landon Mack from Rutgers. Both are solid arms, but Mack is only a sophomore and Frederick is a junior. One weak point about this team that people have been talking about, out of 50 players, only 11 are upperclassmen. So juniors, seniors, or graduate transfers. Meaning there are 39 underclassmen on this team. So you're going to have a lot of production from freshmen and sophomores. So at catcher, you got a couple options. Stone Lawless, who played a lot last year at catcher, is there. He's a redshirt sophomore. You also got a highly coveted transfer in Garrett Wright out of Bowling Green. So does Garrett Wright catch? Does he DH? Does he play outfield? He can do a little of any of that. You also got Blaine Brown, who could also DH. He played outfield. Apparently can also pitch a little bit. He's a lefty. So catcher DH, you got a couple options. I think Tennessee has 4 catchers on scholarship, because you've also got Trent Grinlinger, and who else? I think there's another one on here. So you got some options, but you need that because it is hard to catch every day. At first base, it's going to be Levi Clark, who had a great freshman season last year. Second base is likely going to be Ariel Antigua. He was kind of middle infielder, utility guy last year. From what I hear, like his teammates just love him. Third base is transfer Henry Ford from Virginia. I think he may have been the top transfer in this class. I can't remember. But he went to Baylor down in Chattanooga. So I think that's part of his ties to Tennessee. Shortstop, Manny Marin, who, again, a lot of people inside the Tennessee organization love him, and so he played a supporting role last year. So your outfielders could be Garrett Wright, Reese Chapman, and Jay Abernathy are the two that I think are going to start. Do they put Garrett Wright in that third outfield position? Maybe so. Otherwise, you got a bunch of young guys you may put in there. So there's going to be a lot of new names, but Levi Clark and Reese Chapman are going to be the familiar names. Stone Lawless as well. So we'll see how this all works out. Again, you got some games early on where you can kind of figure out your lineup. It's a lot like college basketball where you're trying some things, and then once you get into the SEC schedule, you'll play a weekend series, either Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then you'll have a midweek game, usually on Tuesdays, that is a non-conference opponent. And that's when you can try out different pitchers. It's when you can try out different lineups, and kind of see what you've got going, so that as you get later in the season, as you get into SEC tournament and beyond, you've got some options, and you've kind of figured things out, much like changing up your rotation in basketball. So I feel like that's kind of where Tennessee's going to start the season. We'll see. I think the first weekend, Tennessee's going to Arlington for a tournament. And much like your basketball tournaments, this is where you play some good competition and really find out, okay, how are you going to stack up to these other teams that you might see in the postseason if you make it there. So, really, really excited about this season. Really excited to see how all this plays out. By the way, so Henry Ford was he committed to Tennessee, but he was also he's draft eligible, but he was likely a high pick, or like an early round pick, and they weren't sure if he was going to stick around in college. But I guess that Tennessee had enough NIL money to pay him and say, "Hey, come play for us for a season." So we'll see how all that shakes out. But
well, yeah, we'll be watching.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. So Valentine's Day weekend, starting on February 13th, is when the season opens up. As you mentioned earlier, Tennessee opens with Nichols, and then hosts UNC Asheville for a game, and then Kent State for a series, Bellarmine for a game, and then they head to Arlington, and they're going to play UCLA, who's got a pretty good team.
Yeah, I think they're ranked number 1, I think.
Yeah. Arizona State and Virginia Tech. I mean, we're going to find out what Tennessee's got here before the end of February. It is already almost halfway through the first week of February, and so baseball season is only a week and a half away. I can't wait. I hope we get those seats installed, because the company I work for is providing these seats for Lindsey Nelson Stadium through all the renovations. Last year, we were tightening bolts and putting number stickers on the seats, finishing up minutes before the gates opened for the first home game. But hopefully that's not the case. I think everything's on track to be done earlier this year, and we are very excited about that. But that's baseball.
Coming soon.
Yes. I cannot wait to watch the guys on that big orange diamond play ball. So
it's going to be awesome.
Here we go. College sports is so much fun. I know it's a mess with NIL and transfer portal. We need to figure out so many things. We need to move the playoff games up so that they're not dragging out with weeks and weeks in between them. But it's still a blast. College football, we need to figure that out. But basketball and baseball, they're doing just fine. I'm excited, Jared. I love. There's a passion about college sports that you don't see anywhere else. Maybe in soccer, but I don't like to talk about soccer. That's just me. Even though Nashville's got a good team. The Nashville Soccer Club. I've never been. I've heard it's awesome. May have to take my kids.
Yeah, that could be a fun time taking the kids. So,
my son wanted a soccer ball and soccer goals.
And you're not even going to get to watch the game. So you're going to be buying snacks, and part of the game you won't get to watch. So that's a good game to go to.
Yes, exactly.
This is the game you least care about. So,
that's exactly. Well, by the way,
does Nashville have a UFL team? I don't know.
No, we used to have an arena football team, the Nashville Cats.
Okay,
but
is Arena League still a thing? I don't even know.
It came back, and then I think it died. I don't know. They're gonna have to figure something out.
Well, with college players getting paid, like I don't know how much need there is for any league that's not the NFL. So,
well, and that was something talked about with college baseball, because it was back 25 years ago, maybe a little bit further back. College baseball was kind of where players went if they couldn't make it in the majors, because so many of them got drafted out of high school.
Yeah,
I played against two guys. They were on the same team who got drafted just a couple months after we played them down in Orlando. That was kind of surreal seeing those guys. At least one of them had a pretty stellar career in the majors. But you've got all these rounds of draft. You've got all these minor league teams, because you've got single A, double A, triple A. There's also a farm league. So you got 4 different levels of minor leagues plus the majors. It's a lot. Whereas now college baseball, with being able to pay players through NIL, it's becoming a minor league system. So it's really made the college product better, and I'm really excited about that. But kind of like Auburn with Stephen Pearl, Tennessee is rolling out a coach who has 0 head coaching experience, though he has been in the Tennessee program for, I think, 8 years. I think this may be his 8th year. So he knows the program. He knows what the standard is, and he has the confidence of his players. So, Coach Elander, let's roll. I'm very excited to see what product he puts out on the field. He's put together a pretty good staff, some promoted from within. He went and got an assistant from Florida that's a big name. We'll see how long he can hold on to him, because he may be a head coach here pretty soon. Went and got a strength coach who has spent time both in the college ranks and the majors. So you got somebody who really knows about strength and conditioning for baseball. I'm ready to go. I am ready for baseball season. I have been playing catch with my kid in the house. We're trying not to break anything, but I am searching Facebook Marketplace for gear. I am reading about all sorts of baseball leagues, and just I'm eat, sleep, drinking baseball right now. I love it. It's been a long time since I've been this involved, and I'm just trying not to go overboard, because my wife will be like, just, you got to tone it back. You got to reel it in. But this is my passion. Oh, I love the game of baseball. So I can't wait for games, and we can actually break down some of this stuff. I'm going to quit talking.
Well, yeah, you had a lot of things to share, and I appreciate that. And that's only, basketball's not going away. Baseball's coming up, so hang on to your hat.
Yeah, I'm getting very excited. So, you can find us third Saturday in October.com, on social media at TSIO Pod. Support the show by sending it to a friend. Got somebody who loves baseball? Let's talk college baseball. Somebody who loves basketball? We talk some college basketball. In football, stick around, because there's always something to talk about with college football. So share us with your friends on YouTube or wherever you love to listen to podcasts. You can also support the show by finding us on Venmo at TSIO Pod and send us money for a cup of coffee, or buymeacoffee.com/TSIO Pod. Your tips are greatly appreciated. I'm Bradley. Roll Vols. We're rolling through basketball season and rolling into baseball season. So let's roll a double play. That is what I'm feeling, because heroes come in all sizes. Jared.
Yes, Bradley, War Eagle, and thank you for all of that rundown. That was fantastic.
Tailgate, man cave, living